We're in the month of March, and there's a lot of celebration in the month of March, one of which is the International Women's Day.
To all incredible women in the world, happy International Women's Day. Today we stand together to celebrate the achievements of women, past, present, and future. We recognize the pioneers who paved the way, the change makers who continue the fight, and the young girls who will lead us into a brighter tomorrow. International Women's Day is a reminder of how far we've come and how much further we must go. As we celebrate today, let us remember the word of Melalem Shufa: we cannot all succeed when half of us are held back. This year's theme, Accelerate Action, is a call to move beyond words and to take meaningful steps towards advancing gender equality. The campaign calls for swift and decisive measures to eliminate systemic barriers and biases hindering women's progress, barriers in education, employment, and leadership. Today is about breaking those barriers. Over the years, we've seen remarkable women shatter glass ceilings. Women like Wangari Maathai, who fought for environmental conservation and women empowerment. Women like our own Okonjo-Iweala, who became the first woman to lead the World Trade Organization. These women inspires us to keep pushing forward, to keep fighting for a world where gender does not define opportunity. It highlights the importance of investing in gender equality and women empowerment as key drivers of socio-economic progress. It focuses on areas such as economic inclusion, ensuring that women have equal access to jobs, education, and financial resources, ending gender-based violence, strengthening laws, protections, and support for survivors, leadership and decision-making, encouraging more women in leadership roles across all sectors, climate action, supporting women-led solutions for environmental sustainability. By accelerating actions in these areas, the goal is to create a more inclusive and equitable future for women and girls worldwide. Today is not just a movement, but it's for us to take it by force. I stand with all women. Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day. Accelerate action. Happy International Women's Day. Accelerate action.
Happy International Women's Day. Accelerate action.
It's just a call for everyone to join hands to increase the momentum, to pull down the barriers and the chaoses that affect women everywhere in every sphere of life. Women should not be neglected. Women have the power. We have that inbuilt resilience in us. There is nothing we set our minds to achieve that we cannot achieve. We are the mover and the shaker. We are the home builder. We are the world changer. We can make anything happen. So let us join hands together to make sure that there is no more inequality. Women are no more underrated or pulled down in any sphere they find themselves. Encourage women. Women inclusion should be key in every discussion in every government sector and public sector. So we encourage everyone to join hands as we celebrate Women 2025. No woman should be neglected. 2025 International Women's Day. Accelerate action!
Happy International Women's Day. Accelerate action.
Happy International Women's Day. Accelerate action.
International Women's Day is a reminder that women are strong, resilient, and passionate. I want to remind and encourage every woman out there to keep being strong and accelerate action. Happy International Women's Day.
Visit us at Trust Charities Hospital. I'm Dr. Liliana Jakaye. I'm a consultant obstetrician gynecologist. I basically take care of women and majorly issues that deal with the genital tract. And then there's a major condition in obs and gynae that is a chronic condition that affects our women. It's called endometriosis. Now, it turns out that March is Endometriosis Awareness Month also. And I would like to enlighten us about what it entails. It's a chronic medical condition that affects a lot of women, and it's been found to not be easily recognized. Some of those patients usually would present with very painful menses, and some doctors would just tell them, oh, it's normal, your mother had such pain, and it was after she had a baby that it got better. But it's always not so, because what happens in endometriosis is that there is the lining of the womb, which is called the endometrium. You have such lining in other areas where they are not supposed to be in. So what that does is, the usual cycle, there's shedding, there's bleeding of the endometrial lining. Such bleeding now happens in those places where the lining is not supposed to be. And then you have pain in those places. For some people, they have pain while menstruating, they have pain while urinating. We've even had cases where people start convulsing when they are menstruating. And what happens is that they have that endometrial tissue in the brain. And strangely also, it can cause fatigue, bloating, abdominal bloating, and very severe dysmenorrhea, as I mentioned earlier. Now, it's usually undiagnosed for some people because of the bizarre presentation. So you find that sometimes you have to enlighten this patient and ask some further questions for you to make a diagnosis. So, as I have mentioned the symptoms, if any of those symptoms come up, we usually will do a scan for such a patient, and sometimes we can find some cyst-like growth on the ovary, what we call an endometrioma. So what happens there is also bleeding into the ovarian capsule that surrounds the ovary, and that gives very severe pain. Now, on scan also, with advances in scan, on transvaginal scan, we can also see some tissue which we call scar tissue that can make the uterus to not be as mobile, that is, move as it used to, and that can help clinch the diagnosis. But basically what we do is we go in, either we look into the uterus using a hysteroscope and we find that those tissues are there, or we do laparoscopy, where we go in through the navel and then we look in and we see the endometriotic deposits. Now, it is said that endometriosis is not totally curable, but it is manageable. You would want to ask, what's the cause of endometriosis? Now, most people would say that the cause is not known. However, it's been implicated that some people bleed backwards. So more like, instead of bleeding out, they are bleeding in to the system, and that can predispose to endometriosis. That's one theory. Another theory is that it could be genetic, inherited. So you find that some people, their mom had it, their sister had it, and they also had it. So sometimes it could be genetic. The issue about it is the pain that it causes. So the pain can be so severe that it affects the quality of life of such an individual. So in management, what we do is we try to curb the pain, and sometimes we go as far as stopping the menses, because remember that anytime that a woman menstruates, those tissues will bleed wherever they are, and that will lead to the symptoms that the patient would present with. So a lot of times, what we really focus on is taking care of the pain so that we improve the quality of life of such an individual. There are times when surgery may be implicated, especially when the tissues, endometriotic tissues, are identified during laparoscopy or hysteroscopy, and we can sort of burn them off, cauterize, or cut some of them off, and that will help to relieve the symptoms. There's no reason for any woman to live in pain. So what I would advise is, when menses is painful, we shouldn't just sit down and say, oh, it happened to my mom, it happened to my sister. They should present on time so that we can evaluate and make a diagnosis and know how to help improve their pain symptoms. the hysteroscopy, the laparoscopy. We do it here at Trust Charities Hospital. In conjunction with Venus Medicare HMO, we are able to manage these patients better by making the appropriate diagnosis and treating appropriately. Every March we celebrate the International Women's Day. Now the theme for this year is Accelerate Action. For me, I am focusing on taking care of women. So we talk about equality, being able to treat the woman as you treat the man, because at the end of the day, we are bringing things to the table. Let's put it that way. We are both being productive and trying to make the country better. As an OBGYN, we try to make sure that our women are in good health and taking care of their conditions to make sure that they stay healthy and are more productive. Thank you. Happy International Women's Day!